what is going on, everyone? This is your boy Tanveer Side, Deep Bengal Dragon. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons, as all your support really helps this legally blind YouTube content creator to remain motivated to continue making a variety of different type of videos on this channel, and through the YouTube algorithms would also help this channel grow. Now, this is going to be a request video. The YouTube user, it's just his username. If I recall correctly, Johnny wants you dead. I think that's it. He requested I make a video on Parasite Eve. I'm sorry, my friend. This is the best I can do. People, I am a legally blind person. So the nature of this game, it really does not allow me to make a detailed analysis. It really does not. And I will get to why in a little bit once I go further into the video. Moving forward, please do not request anything involving content like this again, because I am just not going to do it anymore, because I wouldn't be doing it justice. And once you see what I have done for this video, it will become apparent. Parasite Eve is a game that was released in 1998 by Squaresoft, the then Squaresoft. Okay, if you want a breakdown of the story, a YouTuber called Chroniclar of Lore has done an excellent video about the story of this game. I'm going to link to his video in the description below. It might also pop out as an info card, but please check his video out. And I'm going to go most of what I have seen in his video and my thoughts on Parasite Eve. We see that this game is produced by the then Squaresoft in 1998 for the PlayStation 1, at least as far as I know. And there's the problem. Squaresoft releasing this type of game for PS1. This is going to be a text-based RPG. Okay, similar to Final Fantasy VII, the original Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy IX. And people, like I mentioned, I'm legally blind. I'm visually impaired. I have very, very little vision. If you must know, from a medical standpoint, bidirectional nystagmus, light perception, visual acuity. So physical reading, although I can do it, it is very, very straining to the eye. And this is why this video is going to come out the way it did. And there's only a limit to how much I can do with a game like this. And that is why, please, people, if you're going to request something, do not have something that is heavily text-based, especially when it comes to the dialogue in the media, well, the movie or the cartoon or the game. Otherwise, I will miss out on everything because I'm missing out on the dialogue. So it starts off with some shots of a city, and from the Statue of Liberty shown, we know that it's New York. I like this touch where they actually show you the protagonist along with a little bit of information about her age and whatnot. That's a good touch. I remember in Final Fantasy VIII, the first Final Fantasy I've ever played, you actually had to name a lot of your characters, and I found that to be unnecessary. Why would you want to name your main protagonist, the love interest, and all the GFs that you get? The first line she delivers, we see that she's a little stuck up, she's a little uncomfortable, but she's just going along with it just to make him happy or make him stop irritating her or something along those lines. We get those vibes that she's there, but part of her doesn't want to be there, but she's like, what the hell, I'll just do this one time. Well, you are in New York, and she does work for the NYPD. And from what I hear, they're not the best representation of people with a sound mind. Just a joke. So we see the opera, then we see the reveal of Eve in Melissa's body, apparently. Yes. And I love this part where Eve basically incinerates these two people, and the guy in the middle is just chilling. He's just having some type of a seizure or something. He's just passing out. And I'm sorry, this cutscene with Eve and Aya, I'm sorry, but this is some bad graphics from Squaresoft. Squaresoft is better than this in terms of graphics when it comes to their CGI cutscenes. Just look at Final Fantasy VIII. And by the way, Final Fantasy VIII, now I'm starting to realize why the classic Final Fantasy games on PlayStation 1 are so revered, regardless of the very horrible story that they have. It is because of their presentation, and it is because of the storytelling through body language and music that they do in the cutscenes, in the CGI cutscenes. Because the CGI cutscenes, they don't have any dialogue, so it's almost like a colored silent movie type of thing, or a colored version of a movie with no dialogue but with sound effects and whatnot. That is one of the strengths of the earlier Final Fantasy games, which actually carried over into Final Fantasy X. Parasite Eve, though, when I see this cutscene, I'm like, I don't think Squaresoft put that much effort into this series compared to Final Fantasy. But getting back to Parasite Eve, as I mentioned, for the full story, please look up the video from Chronicler of Lore. Okay. But as far as I understand, this game is about explosive mitochondria. Okay. Now, to other people, that might sound acceptable, but to me, who has a master's degree in biomedical sciences, okay, who has worked with cells, don't ask how I did it, considering my visual impairment. I had to do too many circus tricks to even get one step done. I cannot suspend my disbelief knowing what mitochondria are. Mitochondria are not radio receivers that can somehow be given a self destruct command just because someone's mind wants it to. Okay. They can't just, blow up into 20,000 volts. Is that how it's said by Dr. Maeda? Yeah. Mitochondria don't act that way. Okay. And given the whole thing about the mitochondria living like a parasite and whatnot, like after some type of botched um, endocytosis from a primitive eukaryotic cell, and that cell just decided to multiply in that form. And then this mitochondria mutated and now basically does whatever the plot of this game wants the mitochondria to do. I'm sorry, I cannot suspend my disbelief. I am too scientific, man. And yes, this is coming from a guy who has covered Metal Gear Solid, who has covered Batman, who has covered Resident Evil. Yes, there is a limit to how much you can suspend your disbelief. And Parasite Eve, like, I'm sorry, science fiction taken past its limits. That's why I titled this video that way. Anyways, getting back to Aya, she seems to be the very dutiful cop that she will put her police work in front of anything else, even smacks her date out of the way.
No, no, Midberry Crunch doesn't ever pee his pants.
Yeah, we also see that, as expected, Aya does some basic investigation as well as a police officer should. Well, at least good to see the NYPD maintain some protocol. We also see that Aya finally finds Melissa and she's confused about who she is, Melissa or Eve, and then Eve takes over. And in this period, Eve says perhaps the stupidest thing that I have heard in a long time. Something along the lines of, the time of nucleic acid domination has ended. It is now the time for the mitochondria. I'm like, my God, this is a political battle between the nucleus and the mitochondria? Oh my God, what's going to happen to the ribosomes and the lysosomes and the vacuoles? I like this part where Aya basically says, mitochondria? What are you saying? I don't understand you. We finally see Aya is asking point blank, Why didn't she explode just like everyone else? But this is after she does all the police duty that she can, like even looking for that little girl as much as possible, and also taking care of what you would expect, I guess, by this point is normal in the sewers of New York. I mean, just look at the Teenage Mutant Turtles, okay? Heroes in a half shell. Didn't they also come from New York? But from a character standpoint, we see that Aya is still very, very dutiful, okay? And she really values her police job even much more than her own life, where she says that she wish she would have exploded as well, because if she turns into a monster, she's going to be a threat to Daniel and to other people. This also tells you that Aya is starting to believe Eve. Something about she felt something when she touched Eve that reminded her of her sister Maya. But we see that she's also kind of naive. Okay, to the gamers, what gave this away is when she basically told the press about the explosive mitochondria when she was specifically told not to. To me, what gave this away is when she revealed she doesn't know what mitochondria are. Buddy, I've learned this in the sixth grade. Okay. And I did not go to no special school, I went to regular school. From time to time, we also see Aya has these flashbacks of a hospital for some reason. And going through the story again, I'm sorry, man. Like, there's a limit. When Dr. Maeda says that the evil scientist is trying to create sperm that don't have any mitochondria, when if you know anything about oncology, anything about how cells work, you know that sperm is one of those cells that really, really require mitochondria. I'm like, bro, this game lost me. I can't. I can't. This game lost me. And maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's so much text. So much text. I'm like, bro, I can't keep up. Like, buddy, I can't keep up. My eyes are absolutely killing me. I can't do that much of physical reading. Okay. It is very, very straining to the eye. So the story goes on about some type of blob monster being made from the corpses of, you know, semi melted people, like, you know, they can be coagulated into a goo monster or something. Something about T-rexes that are dead for millions of years being brought back to life. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it works. You just draw a T-Rex, you put some plastic skeletons, and, you know, whoop to do, mitochondria plot device. It will come to life and it will have all the flesh as well, and then it will eat you. When T-Rexes are known to be scavengers. Okay, then you have, you know, giant spiders, you know, pterodactyls and whatnot. I'm like, listen, man, there is a limit to how much suspension of disbelief I can do. Okay. In Final Fantasy VIII, when you had an entire university being able to fly, that was more believable than Parasite Eve. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. So apparently, we get the cliche ending where Aya is the only one that can stop Eve. Aya manages to kill Eve, but not before Eve giving birth to the ultimate being. I'm like, where have I seen this cliche before? And then through some special bullets, Aya manages to kill the ultimate being. And then it is revealed that the reason she has these flashbacks, the reason she has connections with Eve and whatnot, is because when Aya was 7, apparently her mom and her sister got into a car accident. And her sister had some of these Eve cells. Okay. So her kidney went into Melissa, who later on became Eve, but her cornea went into Aya. And sometimes during trauma, the last thing a person sees is imprinted into a person's cornea. Okay, this is now in the realm of superstition. Science fiction and superstition. Very bad combination. Trust me. I'm not even gonna go over the plot hole on how a kidney transplant worked one way in one person, but a cornea transplant worked in an anti venom type of way in another person. I have no idea, and I'm not even gonna think about it. Okay, maybe this is why Eve was confused that why are you trying to stop me? Okay, we both have the same mitochondria that took over our whole body. Okay, and for some reason, we're not ending up like Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal Black, with the fire on his head. But the ending we see is that Aya now finally started to realize her powers, and she realized that she can sense the mitochondria of other people in her own body. So if there is ever another Eve, Aya knows that she can fight this Eve, and she will have the mitochondria of other people around her to help in this battle. People, I don't know what to say. Okay, apparently this game has sequels, so this game did something right. For me, I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Like, I just saw it for the story. The gameplay seemed interesting enough, but I never played this game, so I cannot tell you from firsthand experience. It does seem inaccessible, so I'm not going to play it. But overall, if you want me to rate the story, I'm going to rate it a 4 out of 10. That's the best I can do. I'm so sorry. The best I can do is 4 out of 10 because the science fiction and superstitious elements are stretched beyond breaking point with this. Okay? Vibranium is much more logical. The T virus is much more logical. Okay? The artificial AI taking over everything and controlling the world economy, the Patriots thing in Metal Gear Solid is much more believable compared to Parasite Eve. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know why people like this game or dislike this game and why you like or dislike this game in the comment section below, and let's have a discussion. Like I said, I'm sure I missed something because there's just so much text that I cannot physically read that much text. Okay. Next time, if there is a Parasite Eve that has voice dialogue, and if I get a request to do that, I will do that. But please, no more heavy text based material. Please hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons and share it with anyone you might think find this video enjoyable. This is your boy Tanveer Sai, the Bengal Dragon, signing out. The next video in terms of big project will be Resident Evil Degeneration Review.